Ross Jackson is just doing incredible work at LouisianaSports.net right now. It is the slower season for the NFL. I'm hesitant to say that there's ever a significantly slow season with the NFL. It's just a monster in our sports culture. But this is the slower time. And Ross is still churning out incredible content every single day at LouisianaSports.net. And one of the pieces he put up just a few hours ago was talking about linebackers. And I'm fascinated personally by the Saints' future at linebacker, because the present and really the future for a long time has been Demario Davis. And he still hasn't, completely fallen off a cliff. Is he still the best linebacker in the NFL? No, I don't think he is. Is he still a really good linebacker? Yeah, I think he is. But his time is coming, right? Like, Father Time is undefeated, and Father Time will beat Demario Davis. And my opinion is, I'm not saying it's a fact, my opinion is that Demario Davis will not be on the next great Saints team. That's my opinion. And the question becomes, who starts to take some snaps and take some steps along with Demario Davis? Pete Werner has been solidified as the second option there at linebacker on the inside. But, who's next? And that's what Ross kind of dove into today at LouisianaSports.net. And the first name he points to is one that I'm hopeful for, and that's Danny Stutsman. Stutsman, to me, fits the mold of the uber-productive college player who may not have the monster measurables. And the monster measurables generally get picked. You see what's going on in Cincinnati right now with Shamar Stewart, and they're looking at him as a potential superstar athletically, but he wasn't productivity-wise at A&M. Stutzman's not going to wow you with the 40 time. He's not going to wow you with the vertical leap or the first 10 splits on the 40. Cone drill's not going to blow you away. But the productivity at Oklahoma was some of the best in the history of that school. And let me just tell you, they've had some guys that could tackle at that school. I know the Lincoln Riley era wasn't exactly the greatest defensive outfit you've ever seen, but they've had some good ones at Oklahoma. And Stutzman, statistically speaking, is right up there. And one of the stats that really catches your eye with Stutzman is his tackling rate. You're talking about a guy who is about 12% on missed tackles at the college level, which is what Demario Davis and Pete Werner have been in the NFL. It's a really good number. When you're making 9 out of 10 tackles, you're doing your job. Just the nature of the position with the talent level, especially in the SEC, you're going to miss some tackles on running backs in the hole. There's going to be a wide receiver on a screen that you're going to struggle with here or there. But if you're making 9 out of 10 tackles, you're making plays. And that's what Stutzman has been. He had over 100 tackles in each of his final 3 seasons with Oklahoma. So can he win that job? Well, you've got a couple of incumbent players in DeMarco Jackson and Nephi Sewell who have been around, they've been on the roster, have never really broken through. I think you're all aware of those two guys, but you haven't seen them making a ton of plays on Sundays. You've got a second-year player in Jalen Ford who was hurt all of last year. And so those guys have kind of been special teamers. And that's what you would expect when you've got Demario Davis and Pete Werner on the field. But it's time to start seeing what's next. And I do believe the Saints are in a position to, one, give those guys a lot of reps in training camp that Demario Davis doesn't really need, give them all the reps in preseason games that Demario Davis doesn't need, and then probably give them some reps in the season, because are we really talking about a Super Bowl run here? We're not. So give those guys a look. Now, you're talking about another rookie that has joined the fold in Tyreen Powell, who's from Rutgers. He was kind of a pass rusher at Rutgers. He's 6'5", 250. But he's got a lot of those freakish athletic traits. So what do they get from him? What do they ask him to do? Isaiah Stallbird moved to safety last year, but right now the Saints roster's got him listed at linebacker. So does he get a look in there? I think this training camp, you're going to see more looks given to more linebackers than you have seen previously. Because, and again, this is an opinion of mine. This is not a fact, but it's an opinion. I think the staff knows, okay, We need Demario Davis in this locker room. We need him on the field on the first Sunday of the year. He's a big piece to helping us create a culture, because you're not going to find a better pro than Demario Davis. And all that's very positive, and Demario Davis is absolutely starting linebacker on the Saints team, and he'll have a great year. But there's got to be an eye, even if it's a wandering eye, on the future. And you've got all these guys who essentially have proven nothing. That's, if I'm going to paint in broad strokes, like, they've proven nothing. So it's time to start seeing if they can prove something. And so I'm very interesting to see what that looks like in training camp and who can win that spot. Ross writes in his piece on LouisianaSports.net that he thinks Stutsman and Sewell seem the most likely to square off directly, while Jackson, Stallbird, Ford, and Powell are going to kind of be on the outside looking in. And that makes sense when you consider the age of Sewell and the fact that he's played a little bit, and then where they drafted Stutsman, which is high enough to get a strong look of making the team, right? So you have some other bodies, but these are the guys. And man, if you could get Danny Stutsman to break through, you're going to hear me continue to bang this drum and bang this drum and bang this drum. The more young, cheap guys you can have break through, the quicker this thing's going to go. And Stutzman's one of the older players you're going to draft because he's played a lot of football, and you're not talking about a guy who's 20 years old. But he is young enough to come in on a rookie deal and still be in his prime and still be able to move like he did in college. And you just got to find those guys. I can't immediately pull up the draft board and the undrafted free agents and point to the 4 starters that you hope they've gotten. But you've got to find 4. And Shook is a big risk. Big risk. He's going to be the starting quarterback, but is he going to be the long-term starting quarterback? Like, the odds are that Kelvin Banks plays for the Saints a lot longer than Tyler Shook. Now, if Banks can't play a lick, they don't pick up his 4th-year option, and he's down the river in year 5, and Shook becomes a starter, and he's here for a decade. Well, that's not going to bear itself out. But the odds are that the first-round tackle is there longer than the second-round quarterback, and the odds are the second-round quarterback doesn't become a star. But you've got to hope you're defying the odds a little bit. And if you can get beyond those 2 guys and find 2 more starters from this draft, that's a big deal. And Stutsman is very clear one of those options with this team. And there's a room for him to start to make a push at an aging position. I'm not kicking Demario Davis out the door. Don't misunderstand me. I don't need Matt coming back from the beach with his man of God headband on and kicking me out of the studio because I'm talking negatively about Demario Davis. I'm not doing that. I just know that Demario Davis isn't playing for 10 more years, okay? So somebody's got to step in and take his role. Stutsman feels like a real chance to be that guy. You certainly hope so. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.